matches in your house and your father was on the other side of the door, and he was coming in, you'd hide those matches super fast. And that's what mankind does with his perversions. But to make it easier on himself, just say the man on the other side of the door doesn't exist. Then you can do whatever you want. Say, I am God. I am one with God. I am one with myself. I am one with my ego. Is the easiest way to say that. But do you hear many people saying that or will say that? Of course not. When I challenge people, I'm willing. Anytime, any place, on my show or your show or wherever. I stand by my truth. I'll die by it. But I'll fight for my truth. And I don't mean like, well, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. No. All right. So, again, being able to stand for your truth, being able to live up to your truth is hard. When you walk a spiritual path, which I say I'm walking on a spiritual journey, it's the hardest path you can choose to take. Because as you start walking, all right, the road gets slippery, it gets kind of spaced out, you kind of lose spots to step in a physical aspect. But it becomes harder. So to think you're going to get across the path and get to the other side any faster is another lie to yourself. And man does that a lot just to make them survive, to make them feel good, to make them feel happy. And even in the idea of a relationship, what is a perfect relationship? For a man, it's a woman that'll do everything they ask them to do. I don't care what they say or do, but they want a woman to do the things they don't want to do or to take care of things that they don't want to and make them feel good when they want it. It's a twisted concept of what a relationship is about. And I told many people over the past 25 years, a relationship means giving 100% to your partner and receiving 100% back. That's a 100% scenario, which means the only way a relationship will ever work truly is if both parties agree on that. And it's not the 50-50 deal, because you're going to be fighting over a lot of different things in between that. If it's like 60-40 or 75-25, still going to lose out. It's never going to be a really perfect relationship. If you both give over to the other side, giving everything that they want, knowing that it's a good thing. I mean, well, I'll give him anything he wants. He wants to go out and cheat on me, he can't. That's not the same thing. Both have to be looking at the other party and helping build their relationship. And it's like a ladder. You keep climbing up, you start climbing down. But you got to keep moving. And if you want to bring the truth in, well, do it. A spiritual relationship compared to the perfect relationship, two separate things. But somewhere, if you do decide to create a relationship and you're not in one, think about it. If you're in one, think about what it really is. How much are either one of you is given or willing to give? Or she'll do everything for me. That's ego. What are you willing to do for her? Or vice versa, however you want to word it. So we each need to fall into that space. You know, sometimes I get depressed because I think about people. Well, the number of divorces and separations is over 60%, which is a sad. And time doesn't make it any different. I mean, most people get divorced in the first 2 years, then more people get divorced in the first 10 years, and even now, more people are getting divorced after 20 years. Imagine being with somebody 20 years, which I was, and then getting divorced. It's hard. And people say, well, people are this and that. If you're in a relationship for a period of time, and you're in love in a relationship, and it kind of gets pulled away, it does a lot to your psyche. Not that it's not drugs, it's not drinking, it's what will make you do that, because now you lost the only thing you felt really, truly connected to. God's not that picture. So the perfect relationship's kind of like here nor there now anymore. It's not a good thing. It's destroying the planet because you get people's idea of relationships changing. If they legalized, I have a quick word, but multiple marriages in one person's relationship, gets married 3 or 4 times, bigotry and all those other words. But if they made that legal, it's not like saying you can have 4 women in your house, but you're not legally married to them all. Like Hefner, when he had 3 women staying in his house, they were all young women, a little bit on a perverted side. Sure, one of them wanted to marry him, and it's just twisted idea of how we want to relate to women. If a woman's in a relationship with a man or a man's in a relationship with a woman, it should be to that person. No one should have a child until they're really ready for a child. And that should be talked about before you get married. Not 2 years later, well, I don't want to have a kid. Oh, I do. That's a problem. It becomes a serious problem. Well, I want 10 children. I only want 1. All those things. Marriage should be agreed on before you get started. Because you don't want to try to battle them out later. You have 1 child and I want another one. No, I don't want another one. It becomes a serious problem. So when we create a relationship and we're trying to say it's the most spiritual thing we can do, think about it. How many spiritual relationships are on this planet? How many people are working? I'm not saying I see some people where the family is so connected. Oh, that's sad. I mean, that's sad because I don't have one. I never had one. But to see it is incredible. Where the daughter, the son's older, the mother and father there, and they love each other, hugging each other, and everything else. It's great to see it. It's incredible to see it. But it's not every family. I work for the phone company. I went in house after house every day. I went in about 8 to 10 houses a day. What a drag it was, but I did. But seeing the chaos in these families, in these relationships, in the houses, the perversions, even with children. I had a problem with women in the house when I went in. I had a problem with children when I went in the house when I went in it. I mean, because I don't know how they were trained, how they were brought up, but it seems like they weren't really given that much guidance. I mean, as far as being locked in a room with somebody and things like that happen and trying to get out of it without going to jail. Because when I worked at a phone company, the person's house, whoever I went in, it was always whatever they said was important, not what I said or anybody else said. The technician's not important. It's the person's house and what they say. Well, he tried this. I mean, we had people in the phone company going in the refrigerator and taking beer out of the refrigerator. I mean, we had things happening at multiple levels. Sure, having sex and then the husband's coming home and all those kind of things happen in the phone company with people. Then the drugs and everything else. So, but there's women out there that call people in the phone company just have a guy coming in the house. So we got twisted things out there, and then we try to bring it into a reality saying, well, why did he do this? Or why did that happen? Well, he was kind of led to do it. Oh, no, that didn't happen. We want to deny the truth that mankind is set on one thing. No matter what we do, what we eat, where we go, it's still number one thing is sex. Period. Will it ever change? Probably not. Not that it should or has to. But being respectful in that is much more important. You could like sex. You could have it all the time. You could respect other women. And it still could be all good. But when you downplay a woman, I mean, how long did that story, oh, she's a dumb blonde? How about a dumb man? How about an ignorant man? How about something like that? In the movies, the women always had to take their clothes off. Men never did. You know why? Because of their own ego. How many men are built to the level that they want to brag about it? Sure, they don't want to meet. I mean, that one comic comedian out there, I mean, he shows himself naked all the time. He's doing a lot of movies. He's doing a lot of things. He's going to be on American Idol, America's Got Talent next week. I think he's funny. But being in a place where you're not egotistical about what you do. Spiritual, again, nobody knows what it means, sadly to say. Okay, here's the thing. Spiritual is another program. I'm going to do the first hour on spiritual because basically we'll get back later. Spiritual is another programmed idea of what it is and what it should be and what we think it is. But nobody has that answer, or nobody can even fill in those blanks. I ask a person every day if I can, what's spiritual mean to you? Oh, I'm connected to God. In what way? Well, I pray to God. Praying to a block, a tree, or anything, a statue, or a so-called God, is just that. If you don't know what you're praying to, it's not spiritual. If I pray to my cat, or my dog, or a mouse, or whatever, is that spiritual? Because you're praying? Praying to heal mankind. Praying to heal mankind means you're trying to tell God to heal mankind. You think God needs to hear you begging him for something? For anything? Why would it want to wait for you to beg for something? I'll give it to you? Really? You think God cares individually to, like, everybody assumes like somebody's talking to God? Why would God pick one person out? Especially if the message is lame and not even close to the truth. If Mr. Walsh was talking about heaven and God and the worlds of God, it would be different than trying to tell people about here on planet Earth. Jesus did not teach that. Jesus was one of the few people that talked to God itself, worked with it. Now, whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice. Oh, there's no such thing as Jesus, no such thing as God, no such thing as anything. Well, die in that space and see what happens on your dying bed, what happens to your mind, your body, and how you feel. But this spiritual program, what does it mean? It's okay to kill people in other countries. I mean, Catholics, Protestants, Jewish people fought in a war. Native people fought in a war. But it's okay to kill people in other countries. I got so much information. I asked a woman to come online. She's up in Alaska. I have a few friends up in Alaska, Native Americans. They're trying to deport a woman who won the Miss Native American contest and Miss America, whatever, from Alaska to send her to New Mexico, to Mexico. She was born up. I mean, how do you do that? Why would you want to do that? See, we're twisted in all the ideas of things, what we create and say, okay, this is right. But the program, killing people in another country, is okay. But it was okay to kill Native people. It was okay to kill the Quakers. It was okay to kill witches. Man is a natural killing machine since Atlantis went down. And yeah, maybe that's where the Anunnaki came in and played with some people. Very unaware, weak people can absorb any kind of program they're given, good or bad. Yeah, we got bad aliens here always, not good ones. If we had good ones, we'd be moving forward, not backwards. Tell you, go again, watch the Time Machine. It's a good idea. I suggest watch it. And just check it out. Because man thinks if we become all loving beings, the world will be perfect. To most of the people that are saying they love each other, yeah. But the ones outside of that, what happens? A balanced system? We didn't for 3,000 years. But inside the United States, where I lived most of my life, I'm still in the United States, but I'm on an island. But how people got along, from town to town, from state to state, people were different to each other. When you're talking about a world of different kinds of people, different ideas, different truths, different beliefs, will ever agree on what? We should make love once a day. We should have 10 children in our lifetime. What do we agree on? What can we agree on? Which God do we want to agree on? Jehovah, Brahm, Kalbrahm, I mean, Shiva, Durga, Kali, all those kind of deities. What do you want to believe is God? An Anunnaki? If somebody plays with you, I mean, in a physical way, does that make them a god? If they mind program you, does that make them a god?